Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. One thing I don't like is when people throw darts and hide their hands. I absolutely do not like when people don't own their ish, and I feel like a lot of people were not owning their ish on the reunion part 1. So we're going to get into it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that share button. We're going to get into it. I personally would say I would rate the reunion a 7. And I feel like maybe a 7.5 because it was a good watch. I enjoyed the Kiki at the start. It was entertaining. I kind of liked it. I love the banter with Andy and the girlies. It worked well. Now, let's talk about Kelli for a quick second. My thing is, Kelli, I need you to own your ish. When you came on the show, you asked Porsha, why did she steal that woman's husband? You had already planned what you wanted to say. You didn't even say, oh, why did you steal? You said, why did she steal? I'm just trying to know, why did she steal that woman's husband? You wanted to know. To say you were asking out of concern is ridiculous, and I absolutely did not like that. How about you own your ish? I asked because I wanted to know. I really was curious, and I'm asking the questions the people want to know. How about you own that? That could have ate, and everybody will be out here rooting for you and say, oh my God, Kelli ate her up. All of that. But you didn't. You are so committed to making it seem like, oh, you're coy and, oh, it wasn't that. Girl, you wanted to make it on the show. You wanted to secure your spot. You found an opportunity and you took it. We all understand what it is. It is a show, Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're not surprised. That's how the show works. Own it. And I said what I said because I really wanted to know, and the people wanted to know. You could have ate that. It could have been a nice one-liner. That could have ate, and that could have been all. Instead, you were like, oh, I was asking out of concern. Girl, what concern? Concern for who? And I'm hoping this is something that Kelli will learn the more she's on the show, because I feel like some of the new girls don't know how important it is when you own something. Like, we know what it is. We watch the show because the show is meant to be funny, lighthearted, people that own their ish. So when we see people that don't own their it doesn't look good. It doesn't land well with the viewers, right? I also think Kelli was committed to misunderstanding. I feel like Kelli is a lapdog. You know what we claim that Shamia is, and she behaves like a lapdog? Kelli is and behaves like a lapdog for Shamia, because where is the beef? There was no need for there to be any interaction between Porsha and Kelli at the reunion. Yet, Porsha was even trying to say, oh, we had a conversation. It was a heartfelt conversation. We sat down. We talked about the similarities between our divorces. That girl was committed to misunderstanding. She kept interrupting because it is obvious that lady probably practiced her reads and thought, oh, let me say, I was married for 11 years. You were married for 11 months. Like, girl, please, you clearly practiced it. And guess why I feel that way? Because when she literally was trying to explain to Andy about her divorce in her own segment, you interrupted and was having a conversation. You and Drew were having a conversation. And then you still said, well, but my marriage is different. Girl, what difference does it make? You're getting a divorce. The man is treating you like ish. According to you, why do you keep landing and trying to make it seem like she's trying to compare the marriages or the length of the marriage? That wasn't what she was trying to say. She was trying to say you had a conversation. You bonded on the fact that you guys are going through it with men who are constantly putting information out in the open. That is what is being said. And I need her to open her ears, listen to understand, not to respond. It's looking weird. It's just looking like you're caping for Shamia at this point. And we don't like that. The same reason a lot of people were not feeding Shamia this season was because she kept caping for Porsha when it was unnecessary and talking behind Porsha's back through it all. It's like, girl, why do you have a hard-on for Porsha? Let her speak. And I like when Porsha eventually told Andy, okay, you're going to have to steer this ship, because when they say what they want to say, then I will respond and say what it is I need to say. And I feel like that's what Cynthia meant when she said Porsha was owning it. In a lot of the clips that I saw online before I watched the show, I was thinking it doesn't really feel like Porsha is owning it. But girl, Porsha was running the reunion so far, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. Even if you disagree, listen until the end. I'm going to break it down. Let's talk about the whole Shamea, Simon, and Porsha situation. Now, Angela repeated and said that Shamea said she was the one that introduced Porsha to Simon. Now, this is not the first time we have heard this, and I need you guys to pay attention. Remember, there was a time where they were all up in the comments, and Shamia and Porsha were in the comments, and I think Porsha said something about matchmaker or something like that, like shouting out Shamia for being a good matchmaker. So, if that's what she said online, why is it now something different? And if you notice, Drew also said, I heard that as well, right? So the comment does exist somewhere. And I know I'll try and like get it put in this video, right? Because absolutely that was said, right? So my thing is, now all of a sudden, the conversation has changed. So I feel like it's two different things. It's either Porsha and Shamia teamed up to set up or agree to make it seem like Shamia was the matchmaker, but I don't know why she would agree to that. Or Shamia played a more instrumental role than they are telling us, in my opinion. Now, I know people are going to be like, oh, well, it was run back. Let's be clear. Production doesn't necessarily show every single thing. And sometimes conversations are had that are not caught on camera between these women. So if Drew is saying something and Angela is saying something and Porsha is also saying something, and this is something that has been said on the internet before the show even started filming to begin with, why shouldn't we believe it? Why should we believe Shamia's word now versus what was said back then? There was no reason to be on Instagram talking about matchmaker at that time, right? Best matchmaker ever. Why was that necessary at the time prior to filming to say that? If that wasn't in fact true, unless this is a scheme that they've all set up since then, planning to come back to Real Housewives of Atlanta, but that doesn't sound believable. So if that was said then, and that was not an issue back then, why is it that all of a sudden the conversations are very different and it seems to be changing? And now it seems like Shamia does not want to be involved or credited for anything to do with that relationship. Now, I don't blame her because obviously, who wants to be part of the people that were involved in matching them up to begin with? Knowing fully well the amount of grief that Porsha has gotten for allegedly stealing the man, right, in quotation marks, right? So that's the thing, right? So I feel like there is a lot more concerning that we are not hearing, that nobody is saying, in my opinion. Somebody is lying, somebody is not telling the truth. And if I think about, interestingly enough, the way Shamia has lied this season, I'm starting to feel like she is also a liar, or even a bigger liar than we thought, because it's like everything comes back. You don't own anything. You're like, no, that's not what was said, and the things you are saying is giving that you are lying, sis. So I don't know. I feel like this is an opinion. This is not a fact, right? I probably think that Porsha slid into that man's DMs saying something about the divorce, also slid into Fallon's DMs saying something about the divorce, wishing them well or whatever. And then somehow, maybe when she hangs out with like Shamia's crew and stuff, she then got introduced to the man. And then they got on well and then connected. I feel like there's something that is not being said. But I do think Shamia was also part of it in some way. She is just really trying to remove herself from the situation. That's what I think. But let me know if you guys disagree or agree. Let me know what you guys think and why. Because I'm really curious to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comment section below. Now let's move on to Kelli. Again, Kelli, baby, I'm going to need you to dial it down a few more notches, because Porsha is talking about her thing. You keep inserting yourself, interrupting. And I love how Porsha cleared her and said, you should have gotten a better prenup. And I agree. Girl, you should have gotten a better prenup, because you would not have to leave the house and do all these things if you had gotten a better prenup. So shout out to Miss Porsha for that read, and shout out to her for actually getting a better prenup. Honey, learn and take notes. Now, some of y'all may not like this, but I have to say it. I feel like Shamea has been exposed again. And this is the thing. I hate it. I hate to be the person that feels like Shamea has been exposed again, because I like Shamea. And I really was looking forward to Porsha and Shamea coming and being such a wonderful duo for the show. But it just did not work out. Anyway, girl, I feel like Shamea has been exposed again. Now, did you guys notice how Angela and Drew were relaying? Well, actually, Angela and Cynthia. Angela was the one that was relaying it, and then Cynthia chimed in. Now, basically, the bottom line was this. Apparently, Shamea wanted to bring the whole Dennis smashing Drew into the conversation, right? Porsha did not want that to be brought up. So technically, from what we're seeing, it sounds like Shamea was the one stirring the pot. And I'm like, that is crazy. So apparently, Porsha asked Shamea to leave it alone. Don't bring it up. Yet, guess what Shamea did? Brought it up. And this is the thing. This is not lapdog behavior. This is somebody that knows what they are doing and trying to push a certain narrative. Because if that's my best friend and my best friend has a beef with somebody and she's telling me, girl, stay out of it, let me handle it, I don't bring that up, leave it alone, I will not be bringing it up. Instead, guess what she did? She brought it up. She knew exactly what she was doing. And now, guess what the conversation eventually turned into the whole season? It turned into smashing Drew. Now, I would give her a little bit of a bone here and say, it could be that production put her up to it and told her to ask the question. And because she's a newbie, she felt like she had to ask the question. Allegedly, maybe that's what it is. But whatever the case may be, then own that, right? And just say, instead, she then started to deny it and say that, no, Porsha didn't ask her to leave it alone. Now, a lot of people say Porsha lies. Okay, fine. But guess what? Angela said that Porsha asked her to leave it alone. Cynthia accepted that Porsha asked her to leave it alone. Let's be clear. Angela does not necessarily have a reason to ride for Porsha. Let's be clear. They ain't even cool like that. So there was no reason for Angela to literally say Porsha told you to leave it alone. Why would she say that? And this is what I need people to think about, right? A lot of people are so enamored and obsessed with the whole Porsha is a liar. Okay, cool. But my question is, who else is a liar? Who else is lying about this? Who else has lied throughout the season, despite multiple people saying, no, you said this, no, you said this? It's either you're lying or you don't remember your lies, or you're still lying in some way, okay? Because why would Angela say, Porsha told you to leave it alone? She has no reason to say that. Her and Porsha ain't even cool. There's no reason for her to be riding for Porsha at all. So for her to say that, it is clear that she is telling the truth, at least in this situation. I'm not saying Angela is innocent, but at least at this particular instance, I'm sorry, I believe Angela and Porsha and Cynthia versus you, Shamea, because when people give exact scenarios, you always manage to lie, which doesn't make sense to me at all. Now, I will say this is something I feel like Shamea needs to learn. You need to take notes, honey. You need to learn how to admit when you are wrong. You need to learn when the perfect time is to take accountability. Think about it, honey. Angela is saying that this is what was said. Cynthia is saying that. You could have said, oh, actually, yes. So Porsha did say that. But to be honest, I wanted to know for myself. And so I decided, instead of you to then say, no, Porsha is lying. She didn't say that. Because now, you're claiming Porsha is lying, but Cynthia and Angela are agreeing that that is what was said. So it's like it's ruining your credibility, because now everybody is now seeing that you are also a liar and you are lying about stuff that is not even necessary to lie about. There's no need. We are not falling for the nice girl, innocent act. So there is no need to lie. You might as well be honest, be truthful, stand in your truth. People would like you. Some people will hate you. It happens. Now let's talk about the performance that was Porsha getting up to hug Drew. When I say she owned it, And I say she owned it in a sense of it's a performance. Absolutely. But did the performance work? Yes, it did. Because guess what she did? She was like, I'm going to hug you. Got up, hugged her, and then had a heartfelt conversation after where she apologized for going to see Ralph. Now watch and take notes, Shamia. You see, when Andy asked Porsha about whether it was to spite Drew that she decided to meet Ralph, and she said yes, of course. She owned it. That is the thing that I need Shamia to do. Instead of out here telling us, oh, it was for a podcast, and honey, own it. I was being petty. I'm trying to help my best to get her lick back, because why not? I hope she helps me get my lick back. That is what I would say. That is what you should say. That is what people like. People like people that are honest. Good, wrong, indifferent, people that are honest, right? But if you're out here lying in front of our eyes and making it seem like, oh no, that's not what happened. It's not a thing to spite Drew. We were just working on a podcast. Like, please, shush. We all know what it was about. Stop lying. Stop going on interviews lying about things. Just own it. And that's what I'm like, next time, Shamia, next season, if you come back next season, I need you to take notes and own it. Please and thank you. Now, Porsha did bring up something about an alliance, that Britt said that there was an alliance between the newbies. Now, here's the thing. This is where I'm like, Shamia, I really can't get behind you, and you are a scary person, sis. I say that, I like you, I hope you change, but it's given sneaky. And I say that because Porsha talks about Britt saying that there was an alliance between the newbies, Britt, Shamea, and Kelli, right? Those are the newbies. So they came, there was an alliance between them. And then it was interesting that Shamia said that Porsha was part of the alliance. Like, girl, what are we talking about? Why would Porsha need to be part of an alliance when she knows, like, she's one of Bravo's favorites? They've been wanting her back. She was the one that decided to step away from the peach. Why would she want to team up with you? Also, guys, I need you guys to remember, Shamia said she wanted them to be doing like a duo and stuff. And Porsha was like, nah, they got to pay me more for all of that ish. So you mean to tell me that the same Porsha that is very much against alliance would be teaming up with newbies that she has no reason to want to defend or have an alliance with, but she was part of the alliance? That's BS, please. That is BS. Absolute BS. And the fact that she thinks we can fall for it is even worse. Now, I need you guys to pay attention. For some of you who may are falling for it, I need you guys to pay attention, because I'm about to break this wide open. If you guys listen, she said, myself and Britt and this had a conversation, right? So she talks about them having a conversation, and she's like, I was even telling them to go easy on my girl Porsha. So you're telling them to go easy on your girl Porsha. How does that now bring her part of the alliance? Did she have a conversation with you? No. Did she get involved in the conversation with the girlies? No. So how is she part of the alliance? It's like, are you slow? You're literally trying to rope her into it because you're in some trouble and you don't want to be honest. And guess what? Whatever alliance that was, clearly did not do anything, because you told Kelli to ask Porsha. And guess what she did? The next episode, or next scene rather, she asked Porsha. This was the first freaking episode. Why did you take that woman's husband? So what alliance? Like, are you guys slow? And Porsha definitely looks like, where is this even coming from? Like, I don't even know this girl. Or to sit and play on our sensibilities and the fact that a lot of people dislike Porsha, and to say she was part of the alliance, girl, you are a snake, in my opinion. And I feel like, yeah, you're one of those people that people need to be scared of, actually. If I were Porsha, as much as I'm like, oh, you guys need to get back together and be friends and stuff, unless there is a change in that behavior, if you guys even ever get back together, I would still be looking at you with a side eye. And I would be advising Porsha, proceed with caution. Proceed with caution. Because it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, you guys have things that you need to work on and stuff. But talking to other people about your personal beef, and then moving on to then be lying on you in front of you, that is crazy work. That is nasty work. I don't know how there can be a coming back from that. But I definitely think, like, the whole reunion, considering the fact that Brit wasn't there, I think it was still a decent reunion first episode. I don't know what they're going to give us for episode 2, but I suspect episode 2 will be better, and then episode 3 will probably be a little flat. This is just my prediction. I may be wrong. But that is what I think it is given. Now, I will say, I don't think Cynthia likes Kelli. This is just my personal opinion, because I just feel like the moment I just kept looking at her facial expressions towards Kelli, and I'm like, girl, I don't know what it is, but I don't think Cynthia likes Kelli very much. I may be wrong, but you guys go over there and watch and look at Cynthia's facial expressions and let me know what you guys think. Now, the whole Junebug, Angela business, we'll have to talk about that in the next episode, because I feel like they're going to really go into it. But I do think it's some BS, in my opinion. And it feels like a scheme that was set up to come to us with a BS. Okay, now let me know what you guys think. I know I had some really strong opinions about certain people. I want to know what you guys think. If you disagree, that's absolutely fine. We disagree over here. Just keep it respectful in the comments. We can all agree to disagree. On that note, please hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.